Hello and welcome to the January 4th, 2026 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay with us on the Nick's News YouTube page. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like Industry Tap, Live Science, Positive.news, and GoodGoodGood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Oh, here we are, our first episode of 2026, and it should be a good one. We've got plenty of great news articles to go through, good news articles, that is. We will start off, as always, with our news brew, and let's start off right with some fresh, delicious stout. Nitro Stout from Cowbell Brewing Company, to be exact. This is a 5.0% ABV stout that knows what it's all about. It's packing a widget, kind of like a Guinness, and it's going to give it that incredible nitro smoothness. It also allows us to kind of do something that I've been trying to perfect for a while now, and that is the gravity pour, the nitro gravity pour. So I've got a nice big pint glass for this one. Nothing special. We don't need the Balisong bottle opener, so we're just going to crack this open, blow the gain on the audio, and this is the last of the Producer Donna specials from last year, so looking forward to it. Hello, Christian. Hello, Becky. Hello, Tim. Good to see everyone. All right, here we go. Hello, Nico. All right, here we go. All right, and then, ready? Here we go. Gotta pour that nitro. Oh, it's getting full. Ooh. Every last little bit. Perfect. This glass was the exact size necessary to pull that off. And that is nitro smoothness right there. Fantastic. All right, shout-outs. Pirate Cat's Treasure, firmly believes everyone deserves the opportunity to be beautiful, fun, funky, sparkly, geeky, strong, or whatever makes you feel awesome. Within a budget that won't hurt, of course. They love helping you express who you truly are. Check them out for handmade jewelry, dice boxes, and home decor. Links are in the description of our video. So, Pirate Cat's Treasure, cheers. Oh, that is nitro smooth. Wow. Ooh, there's a little bit of peanut butter to it, too. That's a surprise. Second shout out, Nick's News has a notifications list that you can join if you would like reminders about upcoming shows and events. As with all of our various outlets, we offer exclusive content to our notification subscribers. Each Wednesday, you get a special treat, as well as a show reminder on Sunday afternoon, and an hour before the episode actually starts, the live show starts. So if you would like to receive reminders on Facebook or Discord, let us know, and we will get things coordinated. We do not share or sell your information to anyone, ever. It's not what we do with it. So you can contact us any number of ways, somebudgetstudios@gmail.com, contact us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. We have plenty of methods in the description. So everybody on the notification list, cheers. Nico says, that was a satisfying pour. It definitely was. News quote. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters to what lies within us. That comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who often went by just Waldo, and they lived from 1803 to 1882. They were an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, minister, an abolitionist, and a poet who led the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. I need to fix a typo in the message there, but really, I like that quote. We finished off 2025. It was an amazing year for Nick's News. A lot of good news and a lot of good growth for us, and we look forward to 2026. But at the end of the day, anything and everything that we do is what's coming from within. So our desire and our drive to spread good news and joy, to kind of go against the grain and the bad news that we are bombarded with, that all comes from inside. That doesn't come from the past or the future. It comes from the right now that we are here at Nick's News. So what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Thank you, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Cheers. Bug update. It's a house of happy bugs. We kick off this year with Elmira asleep, same as last year. Ripley's been scuttling and skulking about their home, so they're pretty happy. Little John has been out and about. So keep an eye out on this tank right here. And if you see a scorpion walking around, post a scorpion emoji in the chat or shout Little John. He's doing really well. He started digging a burrow at the back end of the tank, but it's still in an area I can see him. So unlike Sue, whose burrow is like on the wall side of the tank, and Sue again is back there. His burrow is on the wall side of the tank and is way at the bottom, so I barely have a chance to look at it because of where his tank is. But Little John's is nice and close. I can take a look at him when he's sleeping in his burrow. So, the Cuddle Puddle, our group of Madagascar hissing roaches, are doing very well. They're a happy singing bunch. And Sue is indeed an introvert. He's just been chilling in his tank, or in his home. Doesn't come out much, but, that's all right. If we do see him, shout Sue in the chat. He is enormous. So, he's hard to miss when he goes walking around in his house way back there. Nothing wild to really report. Yes, as Producer Donna said, we hope all of you had a great holiday season. So many different things have gone on since our last episode. Obviously, we did have an episode right after Christmas. But also there was Hanukkah, there was Christmas, there was Kwanzaa, and then all other celebrations. And then we had New Year's. So Happy New Year to everyone. Happy holidays to everybody. It's been fantastic. All right. Let's get into our good news. Our good news broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles that we like to end on each episode. So, we are going to start off, hello Dirty Rogue, we're going to start off in category 1, science and technology. We call this first one, but wait, there's more! I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. So this one is like an update of News Nibble. There was a lot behind this one. We didn't have it as a full article, or we had it as cool news, and we had it as a News Nibble. But now there's even more that's come about, so we're actually going to use it as a full article. The perfect polymer, plant-based plastic, is fully seawater degradable and leaves behind 0 microplastics. This was published to phys.org on December 17th of 2025 by Riken, by the Riken Center for Emergent Matter Science in Japan, and it was edited by Sadie Harley and reviewed by Robert Egan. Yep, Producer Donna just clarified. First it was a news nibble, then Mona sent in the full article, and now an update. Researchers led by Takuzo Aida at the Riken Center for Emergent Matter Sciences, or the CEMS, in Japan, have one-upped themselves in their quest to solve our microplastic problem. In a study published in the Journal of American Chemical Society, they report a new type of plastic that was made from plant cellulose, the world's most abundant organic compound. The new plastic is strong, flexible, and capable of rapid decomposition in natural environments, setting it apart from other plastics marketed as biodegradable. Microplastics are a global contaminant found in nearly every ecosystem, from the soil and the ocean to the animals and plants that live there. They've even been found in human tissue and the bloodstream, where they likely have adverse effects. I actually continuously make a joke about my generation and how none of us kind of look our age because of all the microplastics. Probably the ridiculous amount of microplastics that we have within us has made us all look a little bit younger than our numerical age. So, I just saw Little John crawling around back there. He is glossy. Back to the article. While biodegradable plastics and even cellulose-derived plastics are not new, most plastics labeled biodegradable do not degrade in marine environments, or they take a very long time to degrade, leaving microplastics behind in the meantime. Last year, Aida and his team developed a plastic that could quickly degrade in salt water within several hours, without leaving any microplastics behind. That plastic was a supramolecular plastic made from two polymers held together by reversible interactions. In the presence of salt water, the bonds holding the two polymers together came apart and the plastic decomposed. But this plastic wasn't as practical as it could be for real-world manufacture. The new plant-based plastic is similar, except that one of the two polymers is commercially available, FDA-approved biodegradable wood pulp derivative called carboxymethyl cellulose. Finding a compatible second polymer took some trial and error, but eventually the team found a safe cross-linking agent made from positively charged polyethylene guanidium ions. What is this word? Positively charged polyethylene imine guanidinium ions. There's a lot going on in 4 words there. When the cellulose and guanidinium ions and positively charged molecules attracted each other like magnets and formed the critical cross-linked network that makes this kind of plastic strong, so they managed to combine pretty well. At the same time, the salt bridges holding the network together broke as expected in the presence of salt water. So even after this all made salt bridges, they just hucked it into the salt water, and that just breaks it up. Science 1, Nick 0. Thanks, Producer Donna. To avoid unintentional decomposition, the plastic can be protected with a thin coating on the surface, probably something that'll break down in salt water as well. So far, so good. But even though the new plastic decomposed quickly, it initially suffered from being too brittle because of the cellulose. The resulting plastic was colorless, transparent, and extremely hard, but had a fragile glass-like quality to it. What the team needed was a good plasticizer, some small molecule they could add to the mix to make the plastic more flexible, yet remain hard. After much experimenting, they discovered that the organic salt choline chloride worked wonders. By adding varying amounts of this FDA-approved food additive to the plastic, and that's another important part to note, is that everything that's going into the production of this plastic, all the building blocks they are using, are FDA-approved, which means, theoretically, the final product should also be FDA-approved. By adding varying amounts of this FDA-approved food additive to the plastic, the researchers were able to fine-tune exactly how flexible they want the plastic to be. Depending on the amount of choline chloride, the plastic can range from being hard and glass-like to being so elastic that it can be stretched up to 130% of its original length. It can even be made into a strong yet thin film with a thickness of only 0.07 millimeters. That is very thin. The improvements to the original design are not trivial. While our initial study focused mostly on the conceptual, explains Aida, this study shows that our work is now at a more practical stage. The new carboxymethylcellulose supramolecular plastic, dubbed CMCSP, is as strong as conventional petroleum-based plastics, and its mechanical properties can be adjusted as needed without spoiling the intrinsic transparency, processability, seawater dissociability, or closed-loop recyclability. By using common and inexpensive FDA-approved biodegradable ingredients, Aida and his team have ensured that their plastic will be able to move quickly to real-world practical applications. Nature produces about 1 trillion tons of cellulose every year, says Aida. From this abundant natural substance, we have created a flexible yet tough plastic material that safely decomposes in the ocean. This technology will help protect the Earth from plastic pollution. To everybody at Riken that has made an even more perfect polymer that degrades in salt water and doesn't leave microplastics. Cheers. There we go. We called this next article, Beep Boop, I'm Coming for Your Pollution. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if you don't want to check it out. Autonomous robots to clean up polluted waters to stop dead zones in Singapore and the UAE. This was published to Interesting Engineering on January 3rd of 2026 by Christopher McFadden. South Korean autonomous robot company EcoPace has announced its plans to expand its global operations for its water quality management systems. To this end, the company is planning to launch new pilot projects in both Singapore and the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, in the near future. As water systems become more complex, cities worldwide will need solutions to anticipate change, not just react to it, stated In-Wan Che, CEO of EcoPace. Water resources across the globe are under mounting stress from pollution, rapid urban growth, and climate-driven algae outbreaks. Traditional responses are no longer sufficient, he added. Something's crawling up my neck. Cities need efficient and smarter solutions that address the problems before they escalate, he added. We are pleased to support partners in Singapore and the UAE as they advance modern water management practices, he said. In case you are unaware, EcoPace combines sophisticated robots with artificial intelligence. It's not AI, but everyone's just going to use the buzzword at this point. To clean up polluted pathways. Its systems primarily focus on algae removal to prevent disastrous bloom events before they become a crisis. These blooms are problematic as they deplete oxygen levels within affected waterways. This creates dead zones that suffocate aquatic life and can release potent toxins that are harmful to humans, pets, livestock, and wildlife. In the worst-case scenarios, this can render freshwater sources unsafe to drink, and can also damage tourism and fishing. Algal blooms are often derived from a combination of heat and nutrient pollution from activities like nearby farming. Traditionally, prevention of them is managed using a combination of manual sampling and responses after visible contamination becomes evident. It also requires significant expense in manpower and time. EcoPace's robots, on the other hand, offer an automated management system that can be used to predict and prevent algal blooms in real time. Its robots, called EcoBot, are semi-submerged units that are completely autonomous. They can physically detect and remove algae, and are also able to remove contamination like oil films and other pollutants from water surfaces. When deployed, they use stainless steel microfilters to clean water. These robots are also able to self-clean and can provide electrochemical treatments to break down contaminants in situ. Most importantly, they are designed to run constantly, not in short cleanup bursts, so they just keep on going. The robots also operate in conjunction with a suite of sensors that are constantly collecting data in real time. This data is fed into a sophisticated AI system. It's not AI, but the buzzword is here to stay. That can adjust flow rates, treatment intensity, and filtration behavior as needed. The new pilots will be used as test beds for the technology under two very different water management environments. Singapore, for its part, has one of the most advanced water governance programs on the planet. It also has dense urban waterways and is an ideal test for smart city integration of EcoPeace's system. The UAE, on the other hand, tends to struggle with severe water scarcity throughout the year. It suffers from high temperatures, making it a prime location for algal bloom development. The nation also has a history of heavy investment in infrastructure tech and is strongly incentivized to reduce operational costs. If the system can work there, it can arguably work anywhere. That is really cool. To South Korea's autonomous robot company EcoPeace, working to stop algal blooms before they start. Cheers. Producer Donna says my reaction to the term AI may become a magnet. Would you want a magnet of me on your fridge being like, "Urgh," and then like there's a bubble that just says it's not AI, just it's not AI. I need to put my hand a little closer. It's not AI. Tell us in the chat if you would like to have a magnet of me grumbling about AI. There's a couple of yeses in the chat to that. All right. That's going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. We've got one article in this section for today, and I called it, "Trust Me, Italy Knows How to Do Food Right." And this was sent in by Eliza. So Eliza, thank you very much for sending in this article. Becky and Dirty Rogue both say that and engineering. Try to get my second arm up high enough to see my hand, but I'll have to take a photo of like me snapping better, maybe. Who knows? All right, I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Italy crafts lab-grown snacks with fruit residues, plant cells, and a 3D printer. This was posted to Reuters on December 15th of 2025, updated on December 15th of 2025 as well by Rome. So just Rome provided this article. Scientists in Italy are developing sweet snacks with lab-grown plant cells and fruit residues, producing a material that a 3D printer can then process into pastries with high nutritional content. Italy's rich culinary traditions may have just gained UNESCO heritage status, but the Nutra 3D project by the country's public research agency ENEA, or ENEA, shows scientists are out to push the boundaries in the quest for sustainable, nutrient-rich snacks. Prototypes include snack bars and glossy honey pearls designed to preserve flavor and nutritional value. In a world where arable land is shrinking and climate change forces us to rethink food production, the goal is to keep making what we are used to eating, said Silvia Massa, head of ENEA's Agriculture 4.0 lab. The aim is not to grow the plant itself, but its cells, she added. Northern Europe has led early efforts, with Finnish labs producing fruit compotes from cell structures and researchers in Zurich developing cocoa-like flavorings. We Italians add creativity, combining cellular food with recovered byproducts, Massa said, referring to the fruit residues from jam production, for example. The project is run with ELTHub, an Italian private technology R&D firm that is part of ELT Group, and Rigoni di Asiago, a family-owned company specializing in organic food products. At ELTHub in the central region of Abruzzo, Enea's plant-based inks are shaped using a 3D printer. An Enea survey found 59% of respondents willing to try such foods. I would also be willing to try such foods. Contact me. The technology could also be useful in resource-scarce settings, such as space or in conflict zones, said ELTHub director Armano Petrica, dubbing the snacks Fruit for Astronauts. Enea is also testing microgreens and nano tomatoes for space cultivation. Nano tomato sounds adorable. I now want an entire crop of nano tomatoes. Producer Donna says, we're not sponsored. We really aren't. On Earth, 3D food printing could enable tailored nutrition for people with dietary restrictions. A plant-based steakhouse in Rome, Impact Food, is already offering 3D printed sliced meat on its menu. I want to try that. Reporting for this article was done by Matteo Negri, editing by Giselda Vagnoni, and Alexandra Hudson. That is really cool. To everybody that's part of the Nutra 3D project in Italy, making nutrient-rich snacks that can be 3D printed. Cheers. I still want the nano tomatoes. All right, that's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to move on to category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. This first one is kind of like a shotgun of articles that I'm going to read, or they're like little parts. This is really cool, though. We called this one Furbabies Are Indeed Family, and I will copy and paste this and put it in the chat if y'all want to check it out. From prison time to firework bans, how Europe is protecting pets. This was published to azanimals.com on December 18th of 2025 by Liana Tedesco. Pet owners argue their animals are family. Social media might frame fur babies as a trend, but it's the truth. When an animal comes under your care, they become an intrinsic part of your life. Caring for a pet doesn't end with ownership, and several countries enacted laws this year to enforce that fact. France, the Netherlands, and Spain have all enacted laws ensuring fair and just treatment of pets. Each one addresses a unique need or issue among pet owners, promising harsh consequences if the law is broken. The strictness of these laws ensures a significantly better quality of life for adopted pets. First part of it, France makes pet abandonment illegal. One of the biggest tragedies of pet ownership is watching an owner outgrow their dog or cat. Whether it's due to lack of time, space, or unforeseen circumstances, abandonment cuts deep. Our pets are intelligent animals who become familiar with their owners' faces each day. You may argue that my bugs don't, and you may be right in that regard. I will say that some of the insects that I've kept under my care, like mantises, definitely have something going on behind those compound eyes. But this article obviously is dealing more with your cats and dogs, your definitely, and maybe, intelligent reptiles, so just keeping that in mind. To discard a pet is to take away their comfort, their safety, and their home. In an effort to end this, France has strengthened penalties and enforcement against the abandonment of domestic animals. This includes dogs and cats, as well as less common household pets. The legal ramifications of this law are severe. It defines pet abandonment as a criminal offense. It also places the responsibility on the pet owner, aiming to end anonymous reports of missing pets. By doing this, pet owners can no longer claim their pet wandered off, especially if evidence claims otherwise. Severe preventative measures have also been taken with this law. For pet shop sales, the sale of dogs and cats in pet shops is illegal as of 2024, but sales by registered breeders and shelters are still permitted. For adoption certificates, all adoptions must now include a certified document detailing the animal and its owner. This consists of a commitment contract, an agreement by the owner to care for the animal's welfare. And then, online traffic. Pet sales are also being monitored online. The law came just in time for the holiday season. That is when tragically many pets are purchased and subsequently abandoned. It's often due to time constraints or the novelty of a new pet wearing off, leaving many abandoned or sent back to shelters. Those who attempt this in France will now face up to 3 years in prison and a fine of up to 45,000 euros. If the abandonment results in the death of an animal, the owner will face up to 5 years in jail and a 75,000 euro fine. Holy crap. I mean, I'm all for it. Wow. That is awesome. Basically just cracking down on people who aren't good pet parents. Next part of it, the Netherlands did away with fireworks. In the Netherlands, a ban on popular New Year's Eve purchases also affect and benefit pet owners. The Senate recently passed a law banning the purchase of consumer fireworks. Doctors and other medical professionals supported the ban, with overwhelming evidence of the harm they cause each year. The ban was also backed by animal rights activists, who know how traumatic fireworks are to domestic pets. After much complaining about the issue, the nationwide ban is now slated to go into effect during the 2026-2027 new year. Polls reported that 57% of the Dutch population supported the ban. Each year, pets run away, go missing, or experience severe anxiety from the sights and sounds of fireworks. The U.S. has also seen its fair share of firework-induced pet anxiety. It's estimated that anywhere from 40% to 80% of all dogs are affected. This results in repeat visits to the vet for anxiety medication, along with increased stress for owners struggling to calm their pets down. While the fireworks ban permits professional displays in some cities, it bans consumer fireworks nationwide. Dutch residents will be unable to purchase, sell, or use fireworks for personal use once the ban takes effect. While the ban is not slated to take effect until the following new year, it's a significant win for pet owners and animal rights activists. Last part of this one, Spain says dogs are legal family members. One country has taken a significant step toward humanizing dogs. In January of 2022, Spain amended its legal code to recognize all animals as sentient beings rather than mere property. This has opened up an entire world of protection for pets, especially in legal battles. Under this new law, with regard to dogs, the court must provide protection and consider a dog's well-being during a custody battle. Visitation and payments must be worked out in the dog's best interest, along with shared custody agreements. Dogs cannot be seized to collect debts for late payments. So basically, dogs are not currency. Seems like a no-brainer. Dog owners now face severe consequences for pet abandonment, including the loss of custody rights. Becky in the chat says, does that mean they can claim them as dependents? I'm not quite sure, but that would be interesting, wouldn't it? In addition, the law requires dog owners to provide their pets with the most basic needs. This includes shelter, food, registration, microchipping, and certified training classes. The shift from dogs being property to family members now puts the animal's best interests in the forefront. The most significant changes are already evident in court, where issues such as attachment to a child, inheritance, and a dog's emotional well-being are addressed. So what inspired these laws? Well, in some instances, these laws were spurred by cultural influences. For example, Spain's bullfighting has sparked vicious debates among animal rights activists. For some, the country's legal steps toward protecting domestic animals are a step in the right direction. Spain is increasingly recognizing that animals deserve similar rights to their human owners. This new law affirms that, signifying its commitment to protecting animals on a legal level. For other countries, such as the Netherlands, the fireworks ban was part of a broader legal stroke. It was initiated for a variety of reasons, with animal welfare just being one of the parts of it. However, it's still a significant win for pet owners. While fireworks are banned amid mounting annual injuries, the welfare of the country's pets is also of concern. And for France, the decision to punish an inhumane crime is really a no-brainer. As this season continues to see stories of animal abandonment, taking action was only the right choice. This new law sends a message to all those who abuse pet ownership. It also imposes consequences on anyone who chooses to ignore that message. That is really cool. To France, the Netherlands, and Spain for continuing to work on animal rights, especially those afforded to fur babies and pets. Cheers. This next one we called Lisan al Algae. If you're a Dune fan, it'll make sense in a moment. I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check this out. Great Green Wall. Drought-resilient algae to help reclaim 6,667 hectares of desert. This was published to Interesting Engineering on January 1st of 2026 by Rigakshi Dixit. Chinese researchers are working on massive geo-engineering projects of artificial crusting. They are using vast amounts of blue-green algae to turn barren dunes into stable, reclaimable land. According to the South China Morning Post, or the SCMP, this method marks the first time microbes have been used on such a massive scale to reshape natural landscapes. Known to have existed on Earth for billions of years, cyanobacteria are photosynthetic microbes found in almost every environment, from oceans to soil. Developed at the Shapotu Desert Experimental Research Station, part of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, or the CAS, this innovative biocrust technology is a product of years of research in China's Ningxi region, or Ningxia, I believe it's the Ningxia region. This cyanobacteria-based crust, which can withstand winds of 22 miles per hour or 36 kilometers per hour for folks who haven't landed anybody on the moon, is slated to reclaim up to 6,667 hectares in Ningxia over the next 5 years. Now, how big is a hectare? Let's check. Because when you hear hectare, it's like, what the heck is a hectare? So a hectare is an area, it's a metric unit of area equal to 10,000 square meters, or basically a square with 100 meter sides. Well, what is that in feet? Let's see. So a hectare is 107,639 square feet. That is a big chunk of land. And they want to reclaim 6,667 hectares. Interestingly, this low-cost, high-efficiency technology could serve as a blueprint for global desert restoration and climate change mitigation. Deserts are notoriously difficult to reclaim. Most plants cannot survive the abrasive, shifting nature of sand. Just ask Anakin Skywalker. However, researchers at a research station in Ningxia have found a way to glue the desert floor together by deploying specially selected strains of cyanobacteria. SCMP explains that this creates an ecological skin. These microorganisms can endure extreme heat and bone-dry conditions for years. Upon hydration from even the slightest bit of rain, the cyanobacteria activate and they proliferate, secreting a biomass-rich matrix that binds sand particles together. So add water, cyanobacteria does the rest to make sand glue. This biological soil crust immobilizes shifting dunes and establishes a nutrient-rich substrate essential for the successional development of plant life. In the natural world, a stable desert crust can take up to 5 to 10 years to form. This new blue-green algae technique cuts that time to just 1 year for the formation of a soil crust. The process was perfected through trial and error, as most good things are. Initially, scientists tried spraying liquid algae, but the method was too reliant on heavy infrastructure. After screening over 300 species, researchers identified 7 key cyanobacterial strains as the foundation of the project. These strains were blended with organic matter into a nutrient-rich paste and cast into hexagonal molds. The result is a specialized solid seed, a portable block designed to survive the journey into the deep desert and thrive upon arrival. Once dispersed across the parched landscape, these engineered blocks lie in wait for moisture. The moment it rains, they burst into growth, knitting the sand together into a resilient, protective crust. This technology is no longer just a laboratory experiment. Ningxia is preparing to apply the technique to over 6,000 hectares of desert in the coming years. The geo-engineering project is part of China's ambitious Great Green Wall to fight desertification. And no, that's not the transformation of something into a nice, tasty treat. It is the fact that, over time, arid lands just want to become desert. And given climate change situations, a lot of that's happening across the world. It moves beyond traditional tree planting to address the root cause of desertification, shifting sands. These strategies are now being scaled globally to Africa and Mongolia. With the recent completion of a massive 1,153-mile or 1,856-kilometer sand control belt in Inner Mongolia, China continues to advance core technologies to fulfill its long-term mission of halting desertification and restoring arid landscapes on a planetary scale. That is awesome. To everybody involved in Ningxia at the Shipotu Desert Experimental Research Station, part of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, for trying to reverse desertification and make a great green wall with cyanobacteria. Cheers. It is a really cool article. And it is good news if we can reverse desertification in certain areas. All right, so that's going to get us out of flora and fauna. We are going to move on to category 4, the wholesome notes. We've got 2 wholesome notes to end on tonight, and they're both good. This first one was sent in by Charlie. We called it 2 Guys Feeds Thousands. Charlie, thank you for sending in this article. I also forgot to thank Eliza at the end of the Italian food article. Eliza, I apologize. Cheers to you for sending in that article. Back to Charlie's article. 2 Guys Feeds Thousands. Now, I am going to post the link to the article, but it is a difficult read because it doesn't feel like it was written properly. So luckily, Producer Donna cleaned up a version of it for me to read. And this isn't anything against Charlie for sending in the article. It's more whoever wrote this article. I mean, if you used ChatGPT, don't ever do that again, is what I will say to you. Two Guys Brewing in Wyoming gives out over 3,000 free meals and counting to neighbors in need. So this article was published to fox17newsonline.com on December 29th of 2025 by Walid Alamle. Alamle? Walid Alamle. That's what we're going to go with. I feel like I've been to this brewery too. It's in Wyoming, Michigan. That ain't far from me. I'm pretty sure I've been to Two Guys. A Wyoming neighborhood brewery has served over 3,000 free meals to neighbors since launching their community meal program in November, turning their restaurant into a lifeline for families facing food insecurity. Tom and Amy Payne, owners of Two Guys Brewing, started the initiative after witnessing the need in their own neighborhood. The couple fills a refrigerator with over 1,000 fresh homemade meals daily, offering everything from lasagna to chicken and waffles to anyone who needs it. We started in March of 2018. We live right in the neighborhood. We looked at other buildings all around West Michigan, and it always came back to our neighborhood. Why wouldn't our neighbors benefit from what we do? Tom Payne said. The program is supported through Two Guys customers and the Wyoming community, with neighbors donating money and food to continue the support. They serve families from all walks of life, including young parents struggling to put food on the table. To see what need looks like, it looks different for everyone, Amy Payne said. We have young moms that walk in with a toddler on their hip. Dad maybe is in the car, and they have tears rolling because they didn't know if they were going to eat today. The meals aren't typical food bank offerings. The Paynes prepare restaurant-quality dishes made from scratch. It's lasagna, and it's turkey and noodles, and it's chicken and waffles. Everything we're putting in the cooler are things that I would proudly serve on our menu, Tom Payne said. The couple's commitment to helping neighbors stems from their own past struggles with food insecurity back in 2008. While opening up their first restaurant, they were putting everything into it, and they encountered food scarcity themselves. He had no job. I had no job. With 401k, we had savings, but we had a house payment and car payments and insurance and utilities, and we ended up having to go on food stamps assistance, which was tough, Amy Payne said. Neighbors have taken notice of the brewery's efforts. One local mother and daughter praised the quality and care that goes into each meal. It's not just canned food. They make it from scratch, said Diane Baum, who is donating to Two Guys. They really care about the food that they're giving to people, and that's important to me. The Paynes plan to continue the program as long as they can sustain it. Our neighbors, they're hardworking people, and a lot of them are just a little bit down on their luck. And man, if we can put some good warm food in their bellies and maybe put a little glimmer in their day, that's a great day, Tom Payne said. Two Guys Brewing accepts both food donations and monetary donations to support the community meal program. You can donate in person or at their Venmo, at Two Guys Brewing. We've included their Venmo in the description of this video. To Tom and Amy Payne, owners of Two Guys Brewing in Wyoming, Michigan, expect a visit from me soon so that I can have a pint, and thank you both for all the work that you're doing, and to Charlie for sending in that article. Cheers. Our last article of the night we called Brewing Up Success. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Yes, and as Producer Donna said of that last article, Producer Donna did not change anything in the article. She just cleaned up all of the spelling and grammar and punctuation errors that were evident that the article was just not well written or edited properly. Starbucks is doubling down on its free bachelor's degree program as enrollment surges 60%. This was published to Business Insider on December 18th of 2025 by Catherine Tangalakis-Lippert. Starbucks, the coffee company, receives more than 1 million job applications a year. The company's chief people officer says one reason is a quietly powerful lure: the promise of a fully funded bachelor's degree from Arizona State University. For Bria Yancey, a barista in Washington State who has worked at the company for 8 years, that benefit hasn't just reshaped her future, it reshaped her family's. She enrolled, then inspired her mother, a Starbucks store manager, to join her, turning a workplace perk into a 2-generation push toward a goal neither woman thought was financially in reach. I didn't think college was going to be an option because of how much it costs with loans and things like that, Yancey, who celebrated her graduation on Monday, or last year, told Business Insider. I know it's going to make all the difference in the world not having to worry about that. Yancey pursued a degree in interdisciplinary arts and performance with the goal of becoming a music teacher. My hat is already off to her. Her mother graduated last semester with a degree in interdisciplinary studies, concentrating in sales, marketing, and project management. I'm glad that she got to finish school because that's all she ever wanted. And she stopped originally because she got pregnant with me, but now we finished it together, Yancey said. As college costs have soared, so has enrollment in Starbucks' College Achievement Plan, or the SCAP program, Chief Police Officer Sarah Kelly told Business Insider. The program, which began in 2014, offers eligible employees 100% upfront tuition coverage for their first bachelor's degree, facilitated through online classes at ASU. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a 60% increase in participation, Kelly said. We have 13% of our partners participating as scholars today. That represents at least one enrolled Starbucks staff member at about 90% of its coffee houses, Kelly added. Starbucks isn't the only retail or Fortune 500 employer offering education benefits. Amazon, Walmart, and Chipotle also offer similar programs. However, compared to most programs in the U.S. retail sector, Starbucks doesn't require reimbursement of tuition payments or require students to stay with the company for a certain amount of time after graduation. Younger students are increasingly questioning the value of a college degree. A May 2024 Deloitte survey found that a third of Gen Z and millennials chose to skip higher education due to the rising costs, and the average price of attendance for a student living on campus at an in-state public 4-year institution is $108,584 over 4 years, according to education data. So you can't beat free. This started over 10 years ago, all in service of creating access to education and the importance of creating access to education, Kelly said. College is incredibly costly, and so how do we create access to that education for all of our partners? So we're really proud because we see this as one of the most powerful expressions of our investment in our partners. Starbucks has expanded the SCAP program in recent years, offering access to more than 150 degree pathways, providing enrolled students with a broader range of fields to pursue than in the program's early years. They've also added a pathway to admission support route for partners who don't initially qualify for university admission, allowing them to take preparatory courses and earn their way into ASU. Additionally, a +1 benefit is available for eligible military and veteran partners, extending SCAP to a qualifying family member. This year, ASU and Starbucks introduced new study abroad and coffee education opportunities, offering a hands-on sustainability immersion at Hacienda Alsacia in Costa Rica, where scholars study climate, agronomy, and the future of coffee at their global research and development farm. A little targeted, but hey, a lot of us need that morning cup of joe. Of course, the students aren't the only ones benefiting. The program is a significant retention win for Starbucks. Turnover is at record lows, Kelly said, and baristas have spoken to Business Insider frequently, citing the SCAP program as a reason they've stayed with the company. The program also helps to strengthen Starbucks' talent pipeline, as the company has committed to a 90% internal hire rate or fill rate for its retail leadership roles. Our Starbucks College Achievement Plan partners are part of our pipeline for those management roles, and we're very excited about that, Kelly said. But do they have to stay with Starbucks? No. Starbucks has never considered adding a retention requirement to the program, Kelly said, because the company wants to offer access to education that people can take with them on their journey, no matter where it takes them. For Yancey, her Starbucks journey is winding down, but it's not over. She continues to work part-time as a barista and has a second job as a music instructor while planning her next career moves. They find a way to make it work for whoever wants to go into the university through the SCAP program. They find a way for you to complete it, Yancey said. I don't think finances or learning ability should hold anybody back, and they really delivered on that. We don't normally say congratulations to big businesses, but in this instance, with assisting 100% with the advancement of education and higher education for their own workers. To you, Starbucks, cheers. Well, that's about it for tonight. 7 amazing good articles, some good news all across the board, from science and technology with beep boop, I'm coming for your pollution, to different laws across the world enforcing that fur babies are family. And lastly, some real brewed up success from Starbucks helping out with a college program that I wasn't even aware of until now. I want to thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nix News YouTube channel. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode will be on January 11th of 2026. We encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, by all means, post suggestions for news brews, shoutouts, news quotes, and of course, good news articles that we can present on future episodes of our program. If you want to send us articles, try to spread them out across our 4 major categories, which again are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice stuff that we like to end on. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description below. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on all of our content across Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and our TikTok videos to get good news and joy out into the algorithms. Please, no SEO improvement advertisements or advertising options. We're not interested at this time. We have continued to see growth, as we stated in our year in review at the end of the last year. Thanks to all of you, and that's the way we like to do it. So thank you all again for spreading the joy, spreading the news of Nix News, and getting good news out there. So as always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.